Hi folks, and welcome to Small World Layouts. My name's Jules. This is video number 5 in the build series for my N-Gauge micro layout Underwood tunnel. In this video we're going to be discovering how I go about adding the scenic work to my layouts. At the end of the last video we painted all the plaster bandage in sight a lovely shade of green. Now, the top of the tunnel is going to be quite a feature of this layout, and I did have a little plan for it. First I marked a path out with a pen that didn't work, stunning, but then I did find one that worked, yay. Next it was time to add the static grass with some wood glue, well, with the WWS applicator, but you get the idea. And yes, as you may have seen in the previous videos, I'm still a fan of the Grand Devil's paintbrushes. Cheap as chips, especially when you forget to wash them out afterwards, which kind of happens all the time around here. Now, static grass makes for a very satisfying mess, but the old sock over the vacuum cleaner trick works pretty well at recovering and recycling the static material, so there's not much wastage. Plus the cleanup is very satisfying to watch. Does kind of remind you of regurgitating anteater. Just me? Okay. Now unfortunately there was a bit of an overflow accident here. I just finished painting the tunnel and surround, and in typical impatient fashion went straight on to static grassing the tunnel top. But I don't think it looks the worse, and the grass took well to the top. Especially suitable for reading your newspaper while resting against a little hilltop. Obviously it was a little bit windy up there. The path was looking nice and sharp, and I wanted to next add some longer static grass, but only clumpy bits, so out came the wood glue again. I have got the layering spray for this kind of application, but didn't think it was best using it for detailed little clumps. This is longer 10mm static grass as opposed to the shorter 4mm stuff that went down as a base. I wasn't convinced on the colour, but as usual it all kind of came out in the wash in the end. Next, it was time to lay the path. I had some sand from goodness only knows where, and I thought that would be nice for a change to use. But as my dad used to say, you know what thought, didn't you, son? Any road. Long story short, it looked terrible, gave bad coverage, and I hated it. So out came a variety of sharp implements to scrape it all off and start again. In the end I got kind of bored with scraping, decided to just glue the new clay ballast path on top of the remaining sand. This gave a more solid cover, and to me it did look better. Film canisters, remember them? Very useful things. Now, new product alert. You know when you have a creative idea and judicial internet searching reveals exactly what you're after? This. I wanted tree stumps. Trees, fine, expensive, but fine, easy to get. Tree stumps, well, we turned to our 3D printing friends, and of course the bay. I glued them down to some plastic art and painted them, then superglued them firmly onto the static grass. Perhaps with hindsight, it would have been better doing this before I static grassed. But, hey. Oh yeah, I did say firmly. When they were all in place, I was quite pleased with the initial look. I'm a big fan of the bedding in of things, buildings, fences, paths, people. So with some standard PVA applied, I used my own clump mix for the path and the tree stumps, working on the principle that the trees had been felled for a few years. After applying and hoovering up the excess, I added some ballast dilute PVA solution to the greenery mix, just to keep it all in place. This had another happy accident effect of darkening some of the wood's type cover. It was all starting to come together quite nicely. And finally, I needed a way for the folks that were out for a stroll not to fall over the cliff face and pop off for a little final swim in the lake below. So, a fence. Now at this point, try to imagine that my continuity is amazing and that the build video for the cliff face is not on the way and in production, and that you haven't noticed a thing. Thank you. So what have you noticed? Well, my fence posts are made from 1mm square plastic rodding, painted a couple of colours, stuck in with wood glue and left to dry. And now you're all caught up. Back to the show. My fencing wire is stripped from 7-strand electrical wire. Using a pair of tweezers, I then wrap it around the fence posts and occasionally keep it in place with super glue. If ever there was a time to speed the film up, it's now. When I say looks okay, there is one problem I have with my method. The wire is just too shiny when you leave it bare. So, easy solution. Out comes the paintbrush and we go back to the much loved Phoenix Precision dark rust colour paint. Transforms the fence into something far more appealing. Tops of the posts get a quick colour to get rid of the whiteness. And then it's time to bed the fence posts in with clump material mostly. It's very rare that you see a bare fence line in nature. They're pretty much always hidden by a hedge, trees or bits of green, weeds. So I was going for a similar effect here. I like using the lichen too, to try and imitate small trees in a hedge line. There it goes. And with that, the tunnel top was complete. I often get asked at exhibitions, how long do they take to build? Well, the process you've just watched in about 10 minutes took me around 6 weeks on and off. Plus, in my defence, I did also build Mallorca on Sea in the middle of it. Link in the description if you've not yet seen that video. It's good fun. As hinted at earlier, the next Underwood tunnel video is already in production, and this will catalogue the cliff face build and a few other features yet unseen. Thanks for watching, and please click like and subscribe to the channel.